Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the only podcast in all of e-commerce that we're aware of that features hundreds of success stories from students who are following the ideas shared on the podcast. That's a cool concept for a podcast. That's what we do around here. And as we approach 900 episodes, it's a good time to reflect back in time and look at some of these incredible stories that have happened on the show over the past several years. Many dozens of recent examples of students who are following the strategies taught in the proven Amazon course and building beautiful businesses. If you're not aware, we've got a 76,000 member Facebook group as well that you can be a part of completely free. There's a link at silentjimdotcom to that, to our course. If you're ready to get serious, build a real business, you've come to the right place. We've got the strategies and the tools and the knowledge and the team to help you get where you're trying to go. One little thing before I introduce our guest today. If you'd like to have a conversation with someone on our team about where you're trying to get in your business, you should know this. We'd love to talk to you. We've been doing e-commerce coaching for over 20 years at this point. We've got a phenomenal team of coaches who have all built beautiful businesses and would love to help you do the same thing. Get on our schedule. Go to silentjim.com/book a call. All one word, book a call. And you can jump on our schedule at a time that's convenient for you. Let's have a conversation. Low pressure, just want to have a chat, see where you're trying to get, see if we can help, give you some free resources or maybe some tools, maybe a course to help you get there. We'd love to meet you. All right, let's talk about today's guest. I'm going to bring on one of the great sponsors of this community. If you've been to one of our live events the past couple of years, you've seen them there. I'm talking about Getida. Now, what is this and what does it do for me? Well, here's the good news first, right off the top. It doesn't cost you anything, ever. They have a completely free service for all Amazon sellers. As a matter of fact, if you just want to skip today's episode and take some really good advice, get over to silentjim.com/reimburse. As in, you owe me money, reimburse me. silentjim.com/reimburse. That's their service. All Amazon sellers should use a service to help track all of the dozens of ways that Amazon might owe you some money. Getida only gets paid when you get paid. They keep a percent of what they find, and you don't have to worry about these details. So get over to silentjim.com/reimburse to see the special offer. They want to give you $400 free of found money right off the top. They're not even going to charge you a penny for it, just to prove how good they are. If you've been selling any length of time at all on Amazon, odds are Amazon owes you money that needs to be pursued, and you need to have someone doing that with you if you want to be thorough about it. But let's jump into today's content. Now, he's going to be spending some time, Yanni, who's going to join us here in a minute with Getida, is going to spend some time talking about some of the nuances, some of the things that go into the service that they've built, how it works, what they're looking for, and more importantly, the fact that there's a bit of a window of time right now where if you don't have a service turned on yet, like Getida, there's a sense of urgency in getting it turned on because Amazon's very soon going to do away with your ability to go back 18 months and find some of the challenges and challenge them on some of the fees they owe you. It's going to shrink. That window is going to shrink down soon. So you need to get this turned on, especially if you've been selling more than just a few months. You really need to turn this service on. You're going to be shocked how much money they find for you when you first do this. So that's a great service they have to offer, and we're happy to bring that to you today. So let's get over and have a good chat. He's also, just to let you know, he's also going to give us some great details on the state of the Amazon selling, some of the insider workings of some of the more successful Amazon sellers, some of the things they're doing. So this is a good, not just entertaining and informational, but very foundational maybe to what you're trying to build as an Amazon business. Hang out with us and enjoy the conversation with Yanni from Getida. Enjoy. So Yanni, welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Good to see you, my friend.
I'm here. Thank you again for having us.
You guys are a great sponsor of the community. You got a lot of fans on not just the leadership team, but the community at large. You were a great sponsor at our last event. And like I said, always good to see you again. But you hit me with an email a few days ago and said, dude, I got some urgent news. We got to get it on a podcast episode. So I'm coming in cold. I've got a bit of a feel. There's some deadlines coming up when it comes to reimbursements, right? But fill us in.
You got it. Yeah. So thanks again for the opportunity to bring this out to the sellers and their conscious and awareness so they can take action on time and hopefully be on the best side possible once the deadline comes in. So I'm going to get a bit basic just to give some context, and then I'll drive into what's going on. So obviously, if you sell on Amazon, there's logistically there's two options. First option is you fulfill your own orders. So once the orders come in from the marketplace, you fulfill yourself. It's called FBM, fulfilled by merchant. Everything stays the same, no changes there. On the FBA side, if you ship all your inventory to Amazon's fulfillment centers and any issues happen with your inventory, some of it gets lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, disposed, all these things that can happen. It's up to you, the seller, to audit Amazon, reconcile all these things. And of course, if you find an issue, you need to open cases with Amazon, manage all the back and forth, and get a reimbursement. So far, so good. That's kind of the basics. So when it comes to FBA reconciliation and auditing and discrepancies, in our Gatito world, there's about 30 types of claim types or 30 types of issues or problems, right? That's a high level. What happened was that July 24th, same day or same time kind of the Olympics started in Paris. I don't know if they used the aura of the Olympics to come up with this update. Amazon said, okay, here's an update regarding the FBA refund and reimbursement policy. 3 claim types out of 30, just for context, 3 claim types out of 30 are changing. Okay.
Only 3.
Only 3. Yeah. 3 out of 30. But
are they the 3 the more popular ones?
Exactly. So okay. 1 out of 3 is kind of more, call it popular, maybe unpopular. It depends, because something not good happened. And yeah, so, but in your money. So if you didn't get all your money, it's unpopular. But if you got all your money, it's popular. So it depends on which side of the equation of the corner you're in. But to repackage it, one of them is more material. Let's call it that way, in terms of money, in terms of the value, dollar value, monetary value. And that one is what they call lost warehouse. So lost warehouse is when once your FBA units are inside Amazon's fulfillment centers, because before they get inside, they have to be received. On the receiving side, it can be issues, right? It's called lost inbound. When you ship it to Amazon, it's coming into them. It's lost inbound.
Right.
Everything stays the same there. When it's lost warehouse, once the units are inside the warehouse, all of a sudden they get lost. The units are in the bin. All of a sudden, next day they're not. No explanation. It's a deficit. It's a minus. It's an issue. It's lost warehouse. So you got to address that. So lost warehouse is pretty common and can be material, meaning it can be anywhere between over 1% to maybe 2 or 3% from your revenue, FBA revenue, this kind of discrepancy type. So for example, if you're doing about $1 million in Amazon FBA, 1% of these types of issues can be, let's say, $10,000, right? So you're potentially on an annual basis, you owe $10,000 for all these FBA units that get lost in the warehouse. So far, so good. It's basic. So lost warehouse, Amazon, according to the current policies, they're giving you 18 months to look back and find all these units that got lost in the warehouse. And once you find that issue, you can open a case and they'll give you a reimbursement for that. Okay, so that's where the reality is today. And then in addition to that, even today, their system tries to automatically reimburse you once their system finds it. But nevertheless, you still need to go back 18 months and catch whatever their system missed and get the reimbursement. All right. So once again, today you have 18 months to audit for Amazon's auto reimbursement system. July 24th, they said, okay, here's the announcement. Here's what we're saying. We're saying that we're going to try to improve the automatic reimbursement, but nobody knows how well they're going to do it. And instead of giving you 18 months to look back, they're only giving you 2 months. And the time frame where only 2 months are allowed, or the cutoff deadline, is October 23rd. So October 23rd comes in. Instead of having 18 months to look back and getting reimbursements, that $10,000, you're only going to have 2 months. So that's a 90% drop. So for example, math, if you had 10,000 that you owed and you can go back 18 months and get it, and coming October 2nd, the deadline drops 90% in timing, you only can recover like 1,000. So you might lose that $9,000 if you don't act on time. Right. That's why the sellers listening or watching this need to know that now is the time to act. You can do it yourself, or if you want to partner with us, we're happy to help you with that. You can, you can partner with Gatito. We'll go back 18 months, clean that up. So once the deadline comes in, you only have 2 months. You're already good. You're already cleaned up. You already got what you owed.
For those who have never, let me just put it into slightly different terms and make sure I'm following you here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for those who have never used a reimbursement service like Gatito, Amazon owes you money.
Behind. Yeah. So
you're already behind.
You're already behind.
Right now, you got an opportunity to look back 18 months. If you wait till the end of October, you can only look back 2 months, which means you're about to give up 16 months of potential reimbursement activity that costs you nothing to go pursue if you use a service like yours. You guys get paid when you find money, basically.
That's right. Yeah, we're performance-based, so it's free to join. It's free to stay. There's no subscriptions. There's no upfront cost or anything. And not only that, I think we also prepared a special offer for the Silent Gym community members and followers, that not only is free to join, free to stay, we prepared a $400 offer. So you can just visit, I believe it's silentjimdotcom/reimburse.
That's it.
Right. So once again, silentjimdotcom/reimburse. and you'll get a $400 offer. So the first $400 that we're going to get for you in FBA refunds and reimbursements will be free. Not going to charge you anything.
Right.
And that's a guarantee. You can expect to have $400 extra in your pocket just from taking a few minutes to set it up. And after we get you $400, if you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to leave, that's fine as well. But it gives you kind of the time frame to kind of settle into the platform, see the service. Hopefully, we're going to go back 18 months and flush you with all this cash that was simply not available for you before. And if you're smart enough, you reinvest that cash into the business, you buy more inventory, you launch it to the market, you generate more revenue, more sales, more profit, more margin, and you're in a better position than your competition, let's put it this way, right? Because you're listening to Silent Jim, you're following it, you when these kind of announcements come in, it comes to your attention, you take quick action, and you're set for the for the other things you got to worry about, because there's plenty to worry about when we're selling on Amazon.
Exactly. In the process of getting set up with you guys is pretty seamless, pretty straightforward. You're trusted by thousands of sellers. You guys, that's why we are comfortable bringing you to our events and getting you on our podcast, is because you guys have a great reputation, and it's one of these no-brainers. Like, people are like, wait, what's the catch? What's the red tape? Does this put my account at risk? No. Do I have to pay something at some point? No. They're just it's like auditing past. I've seen these businesses that pop up. I don't know if you've ever been compared to this or not before, but the businesses will say, hey, we want to audit your past IRS filings, your taxes. It doesn't cost you anything. We just want to see them. That's all you got to do is give them to us.
Yeah, they find more deductions. So if you have a basic accountant that again didn't find all the deductions for you, you get more professionals coming as, hey, you're actually married, you have 4 kids, not 3 kids, and you reported only 3 kids. So you're supposed to pay less taxes. Here's your refund.
We just found a couple $1,000.
Only if they find and you get a refund only then, there's definitely those kind of
so it's very similar. People may be familiar with that business model. That's what you guys do. And so sellers, what's the low bar of a seller who might be interested? Like, if someone just started last month and they've only done $10,000 so far on Amazon, probably not much there yet.
No issue, because if they're only a month in activity, they can still go back 2 months. But if you've been in activity more than 2 months, let's say 3 months or more, you have this cutoff, right? By October 2030, you can only go back 2 months.
Sure. I follow you there, but I'm just talking about the brand new. I'm like, is there anyone who it's probably too soon in their Amazon career to even be concerned about this? If they just started selling a month ago and they've only sold a few $1,000s, it's never too soon. It's never too early.
It's free to join it. Yeah.
So there may or may not be anything there.
Yeah, for the most part, the way we try to create the solution is to set it and forget it. You set up Gatira, and then we kind of come in the back end and find all these 30 types of issues and take care of it for you, so you can really focus on the business. And whatever we need your attention to something, we reach out to you. If we need a document or paperwork, we reach out to you. So only by demand. So you don't have to deal with all this grind. And you can register now, join now, and then as you scale and grow up the business and it becomes more material, you already have a setting for it. You don't have to all of a sudden go to the market and look and do it when it's too late, because once you connect to Gatira, we're real time. We never miss a beat. So even when they're going to adjust from 18 months to 2 months, whoever's using Gatira, no problem, because they're already cleaned up in the past 18 months. And as these issues come in within those 2 month window, we're on it. We're like a Rolex. We always click on time, so that's kind of the idea there. So we're ready when you're ready. So you just started, you can set it up and we're on. We're just ready. So as soon as those issues happen, you always, we're always delivering the recovery on time within the allowed time frame, so you don't miss out. And if it's $1, if it's $10, if it's $10,000, we're agnostic. It's your dollar. So you can figure out what you want to do with some of the change or a lot of the change later.
That's awesome. Give me some metrics. You guys handle numerous Amazon seller accounts, all different types. Private label, wholesale. You've got some multi-million-dollar accounts. You've got the the $10,000 a month sellers that are looking for a few extra $100 a quarter, and everything in between, right? But you've probably got some metrics you could give me just to educate folks. We've had you on the show before, but maybe it's been a while they've never heard of you guys. Like, if I'm just ignoring, let me just give you a scenario. I haven't done anything with this ever. The reimbursement, I just kind of assume it's the cost of doing business with Amazon. What is that percent? You mentioned 1% earlier.
1% could be just that claim type they're about to change. But if we put all these 30 types combined, the spectrum is on an annual basis, anything, there's a spectrum. I'll recalibrate later, but it can be 1 to 3% from your annual sales. 1 to 3%. So if you do $1 million, that can be 10 to 30,000. If you do $100,000 a year, that can be 1 to 3,000. All claims included. But sellers are made differently. Not all sellers are the same. So it could be the one seller has a 7 or 8% discrepancy rate, right? And then there's another one that has a quarter of a half of a percent, because the products they sell, the wires that they send to, whatever, it's working great. So if we take, we have a data of tens of thousands of sellers worldwide that we service. We audit tens of billions of dollars of transactions every day. So what we say, we take it all and put it a spectrum of average. It's a blended average. And that blended average put all together, it's 1 to 3%.
Hmm.
But that one claim that is changing with loss wires can be on itself very heavy. It could be up to 1%. That can be a third of all the rest of the stuff, just for proportion.
Yeah, that's great to know. That's what I was looking for, that 1 to 3%. And it seems like I remember you guys talking about that before. It's typical, but could be higher. Are there certain categories that you tend to see more claims? Is it like heavier, more
Yeah. So
expensive items?
the kingdom, and the most intuitive is the inbound. You ship 1,000 units, they only receive 190, maybe they only receive 180. So it's very intuitive. Most sellers kind of understand it because they're worried. I'm gonna buy 10 or 30, 10,000, 20,000, $50,000 worth of goods. I'm sending it into FBA. I want to make sure they got delivered properly, because any of them are missing, I'm worried, because I just invested my good money into this inventory. I want to sell it. I want to make a markup, and it's lost. Oh my God. Well, so what are they going to do? So it's pretty intuitive. Most sellers are aware of it, or at least they thought about checking this.
Yeah.
But even though
that's a reimbursement category, I'm speaking like the sales categories, like health and beauty or homewares.
So
I mean, like, are there any? But like, where do you see the most? I'm just out of a point of curiosity. Like, where do you see the most?
I would say that the things that are fragile, they'll probably be the suffering the most.
That makes sense.
Because they get damaged in between. So the law and things that are not so large, because a bicycle, it's hard to lose a bicycle, But if you have jewelry or small knickknacks that are fragile, if it's made out of plastic or glass and stuff like that, and it's less than a pound and less than let's say 12 inches, easy to lose, it's easy to break. So that can suffer, most of the issues, because it's all logistics, all related to logistics, inbound, in the warehouse, in the bins, between the warehouses, between the warehouse to the consumer back to Amazon back to the seller. So all these logistics friction points, anything that's kind of small and fragile will probably suffer the most. And that can go to any category. It can be supplements if you have a jar, right? It can be cosmetics, it can be electronics, it can be jewelry, it can be many other things. So
makes sense.
We don't hyper focus on the.
Sure. It was more a point of curiosity for me than anything. Like, it just, where do you see the most? Because, if you hear the rumors of different categories, Amazon tends to lose this stuff more than that kind of.
Yeah, I would say that, small items that are fragile, whatever category they're in, will probably get affected the
fragile.
most.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've always heard the monitor disaster stories, computer monitors, classic challenges with those getting
more on the damage side, less on the loss, because it's pretty bigger. Bulky, right? It's built bulky. Right. But if you have,
makes sense.
Let's say small mirrors, for makeup, but they tend to get fragile and they're pretty small. You might just lose it and whatever. So that could be an example.
Well, I think,
in other words, it's pretty random, but as long as we know it's small and fragile, that's pretty much an immediate suspect.
Yeah. But regardless of what it is you're selling, it doesn't really matter. You need to get
paid
reimbursement service. We recommend Getita. silentjim.com/reimburse is the link for the special offer. Go get your $400, man. It's a no-brainer. It really is. So, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know today? We've got FBA sellers and merchant fulfill sellers as well who listen, but just anything else you want to share? Again, really appreciate having you guys at our conference last year. Hope to have you guys again May of 2025. Love to see you guys back. And we're going to see you at Accelerate here as we're recording this next month in Seattle. So look for you guys. You'll be there, right?
Yeah, come to our booth. We're going to have a booth at the exhibition at the conference. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Outstanding.
Thousands of sellers from all over. What? Sorry?
Outstanding. I said, man, I didn't realize you guys are going to have a booth. That's cool.
Yeah, that's where we saw us. When last year, when I think first time I met you in person, it was in our booth.
Yeah, you're right. It was at your booth. That's right.
Yeah. So there's only I think 30 software companies that get invited to exhibit in that conference. And this is going to be the third year. And we were there since the first year. The first year was only 10 or 15. And then they expanded it to 30. So we're privileged enough to get invited. I think on the data side, we're one of the largest data software companies that utilize Amazon's API because of the large user base and the fact that we go back all these months to look into all these transactions. Now we're going to consume probably a bit less data on those type of claim types, because instead of 18 months, it could be about 2 months. But there's other claims that still have that time frame. And by the way, I do want to mention that these changes are for North America marketplaces, meaning Canada, US and Mexico. Europe, no change. It's still 18 months and all that. Yeah,
they're still doing 18
in Europe,
months
no change in Japan, no change. No change in Australia. But I suspect that it could be that they're going to roll it out to those international marketplaces. I can share a little bit of perspective on this. So for us on the Getita side, we're not too surprised or something like that, because we've seen this trend in the past. I'll give an example. FBA inbound shipments, when you ship it to FBA today in the United States or North America, which also includes Canada and Mexico, you have 9 months. 9 months to reconcile the shipments and get paid. But that issue used to be 18 months as well. But in 2019, they narrowed it down from 18 months all over the world to 9 months in the US, 6 months in UK and Europe. So in other words, they're making it more challenging for the sellers to handle all these issues, because it's early days. They probably gave 18 months across the board for all the types of issues, because FBA was probably a new program. Sellers were kind of new to FBA, so they wanted to kind of give everybody kind of ample time to kind of settle into position with all these issues. And over time, they probably improved their systems and stuff like that, and the sellers became more professional, more aware, so they start narrowing down the window. So they're sending the signal that it's time for all you guys to professionalize and get, handle this in timely manner, so we don't have to drag all the way 18 months and constantly take care of this stuff. Therefore, they're challenging the sellers who are not as professional. In a way, they're kind of creating our environment in terms of professionally helping you, because this is the only thing we do, only thing we focus on, and it's the only thing we want to, create value on. The fact that you can do it on time in a professional way and never miss out on it in the time frames allowed. So they're kind of, in a way, they're kind of helping us help the sellers. Let's put it this way. And there's another claim tab they changed in 2020-ish from 18 months to 3 months. And that's the when and dimension overcharges. So Amazon might overcharge you with fulfillment fees whenever you make a sale, because it's based on the weight and dimension of your product. So the larger and heavier the data or their system thinks it is, they're going to charge you incorrectly for it. So instead of charging you $5 every time you sold a unit, they're charging you $15 because your product that is it's a phone cover that thing is the size of a refrigerator. That's an issue. So they used to be, you go back 18 months and get all the reimbursements, but they narrowed it down and trimmed it down to 3 months as well. So historically, we've seen this trend of Amazon making it more narrow, challenging the seller, so they have to constantly take care of this in a more professional setting in early timeframes and shorter timeframes. And we're not too surprised. That's what it is.
These things happen.
Yeah.
They want you to automate, systemize, and really, it's not a big deal. I mean, it'll just be the new normal once it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you're going back 18 months to find stuff, odds are it's only your new clients that you're doing that with. I mean, you guys don't wait 18 months or a year to review transactions anyway, right? You're
real time.
pretty fast.
Yeah, when you new to Getira, we go back, to catch up. That's like phase 1, but then it goes to phase 2. It's month to month. So it's real time actually. As soon as we identify the issue, we take care of it, so you get the reimbursement as soon as possible, instead of dragging it, or even worse, letting it go to waste and let it expire. So you can recoup that cash, reinvest it in the business, and stay efficient.
Yeah. This doesn't really put any strain on your system at all, because basically it just makes a lot of sellers who haven't used you yet, it puts a little time window on opportunity for them.
Yeah. If you're already right now watching this and you're already using Getira, no action needed. You're covered. You're good. You're coming to this nice and clean. If you never used a solution before,
it's time.
Or you haven't used Getira, if you don't really act now, you're just gonna miss out. It's pure value that in money hard earned cash that you guys probably worked hard for, that you kind of leave behind. So if you are watching this, listening to this, you're part of an environment whereas you're basically you're well tuned into understanding that you have to constantly improve and change and create a better environment for yourself in business and professionalize. You're part of that environment just by watching and listening to this. So you're gonna take action. You're going to stop everything, take 5-10 minutes, set up something, touch and go. I call it tag, touch and go. And, deal with all the rest of the stuff that you need to tag.
Check that box. We say that around here. Check that box.
There we go.
The new seller setup. Check that box. Done. Never have to worry about it again, kind of thing.
Boom, boom, boom. So your mind is on the bigger things. Yeah.
Exactly. I got an observation and a question, and we'll wrap this thing up, man. My observation is I think it's pretty cool, this processing that Amazon invited, 15 there for a few years, now 30 companies to their Accelerate. For those who don't know what Accelerate is, it's Amazon's annual seller event. All sellers can come. We were honored to be invited again back a second time as press this year.
That's amazing.
As well on Amazon's dime. Pretty cool, man. Yeah, hope to meet some execs and ask some good questions. But so the observation I'm making is it's cool that Amazon invited you guys, but it's also cool that they want this to resolve. If they owe you money, they want it resolved, and they don't have the internal systems to do it. So they bring a good partner like you. That's all you do. That's your specialization, and you're going to be there. So it speaks highly of Amazon. It speaks highly of you. Like, that's kind of cool. It's a win for everyone involved, right? But then the question I have for you is more back to the technical, and then we'll wrap up after this unless we pull another thread out of this one. But when does the clock start ticking on 2 months? Is it when I send the shipment? Is it when they receive it? You said 2 months. Like, when does that clock start ticking?
Yeah, just to clarify. So when you ship your products in, nothing changes, meaning you're going to have 9 months in the US to take care of it.
Okay.
That stays. You have 6 months to take care of it in Europe. That doesn't change.
Okay.
That is just one issue out of 30. That's not the issue that's getting affected.
There's only 3 of the 30. That's right.
Exactly. So what example you gave is just 1 out of 30. That's not getting changed or affected.
That's not.
You're still gonna need to take care of it. You have 9 months. All good in that world.
It's what happens in the warehouse.
Exactly. Once you're inside the warehouse, so once they're inside the warehouse after they got received, the moment it happened, they got lost.
Hmm.
You only have 2 months since it got lost to find the fact that it got lost and take care of it.
Yeah, you got to discover it and then
And
request
send that
reimbursement.
information. Yes, open a case to Amazon, present the data, present the information. If this is all like Chinese to you, you can't understand what we're saying.
That's
I
fine.
guarantee it just means you're leaving money behind. So better to visit the doctor, make sure you get the recovery, you're healed, and you move on to play sports. You know.
Yep, there you go, man. Well put. I love your illustrations. You've always got a nice acronym or illustration for everything you guys do. I can tell you're a true pro, man. And you guys you're doing a killer job. Again, appreciate your sponsorship of this community. See you in Seattle next month at Accelerate, and see you again at our event in May of 2025. Man, you guys are you're tearing it up. Love working with you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and all the blessings, everybody. Good luck.
Thanks. We'll talk to you again soon.